Yes, and okay, and hi, friend. So, okay, and you know that, and have you ever thought about that? Hey, hey, friend. So, you know, have you, and then have you thought? Yes, and have you ever, have you ever thought about that? Thought about, hey, hey, friend, you know what? And have you ever thought about that? And decisions, the most important decisions, what, what, what the most important decisions in life are? Have you ever thought about that? What the most important decisions and what what the most what the most important decisions in life are the most important the most important decisions and this year decision in life are in life in life are hey friend, you know that, and have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about what um, and what the most important decisions in life are? Yes, I have. Yes, of course, yes, I have. Yeah, and yes, I have. Yes, I have. I know some people say that they are too big, huge decisions. Some people say that they are two really big decisions. Some people say that. Some people say. Uh, some people say that. Say they are two big decisions, big ones. I know. Say that they are. Their ears. They are. They are and two really big ones. They are two big, two really big ones. Two really and two really big ones, big decisions, big ones. And some people say that they are two big ones, two really big ones. Oh wow, really, really, seriously. Oh wow, and really. But what are they? What is it? What are they? Really? What are they? What are they? Really that? And what are they? What is it? What are they? I think choosing who are you going to spend your life with, and choosing what kind of work you're going to do. Just you having two big decisions that the choosing who and choosing who you are going to spend your time with, and that choosing and choosing who and choosing what. who you are going to spend your life with, your time with. You're going to spend who you are going to spend your time with, your life with. Who you are going to spend your time, your life with. Spend your life with. That choosing who and choosing what kind of work you are going to do, and choosing that who and what kind of work, what kind of work that you're going to do. You're going to do, and the kind of work you're going to do, and choose who you are going to spend your time, your life with. And I know, and that sounds simple. It's very simple. Yeah, that sounds simple. That sounds simple. It's very simple. I know that sounds simple, but I guess that it affects a lot. But I bet, I'm sure that it affects a lot. But I guess that. But you know that I guess, and I guess that it affects a lot. It affects a lot. It affects a lot, right? Yeah. Yeah, it does. It really does. Yeah, sure, it does. It really does. Yeah, it does. And it really does. It really does. Yeah, it does. Can you think about that? And if you think about that, in the most of your life, most of our lives, and that revolved around and two things. Those are two things. These are two things. If you think about it, and you think about it, if you know, just think about that. If you think about it, most of your life, most of our lives, and revolve around two things. Most of our lives, most of your life, and our lives, and that revolve around, that revolve around, around these two things, those two things, around these, those two things. So if you think about that, most of your life, my life, and our lives, and revolve around those two things. But what do you mean, man? What do you? So what do you mean? Just think about a day, a normal day. You have and I had, we have the 24 hours. 24 hours. Just think about that. Well, think about a day, a normal day. Well, you know what? Well, and think about a day, a normal day. Just think about that. Think about a day, a normal day, a normal day, a normal, a normal day. You know what? Well, think about a day, a normal day. I know we all have 24 hours. We all have 24 hours. Have a 24 hours. We have it all. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You're right. That's right. And I know that we usually spend about 8 hours sleeping to that's when our bodies are charged to recharge. We spend about 8 hours usually, and then we spend about 8 hours. We spend about 8 hours sleeping. 8 hours for what? Sleeping. Sleeping. Usually we spend about 8 hours sleeping. Yeah, I think that's when then our bodies recharge, and that's when our bodies recharge, and that's when your body, my body, and our bodies are, our bodies recharge, and recharge. Usually we spend about 8 hours sleeping. I think that's when our bodies recharge, and another 8 hours working, 8 hours, and then another 8 hours working, then another 8 hours, another 8 hours, another 8 hours working, another 8 hours working. Exactly, you're right. Exactly. Then I know we all have 24 hours, and we spend about 8 hours sleeping, and another 8 hours working. Exactly. So about a third of our lives, a third of your life, my life, is spent at work. So about a third of our lives. So about a third of, and about a third of our lives. About a third of our lives. Your life, my life, and our lives is spent at work, and is spent at work. Then is spent at work. Is spent at work, right? About a thought of at is spent at work. Is spent at work, and the last 8 hours, and about 8 hours and the last 8 hours, and the last 8 hours, the last 8 hours, 8 hours. So the last 8 hours. I think that's the time we spend with family and friends. Usually, the time we spend with family and friends, and that's usually the time. I think that's usually the time. That's usually the time. The time that we spend with we spend with family and friends, with family, friends, and our people we care about, friends, or people that we care about, or people that we care, really, truly cared about. And the last 8 hours, I think that's the time. That's usually the time we spend with family, friends, and the people we care about. So that when we break it down like that, when we break it down like that, when we see like that, when we break it down like that, it seems pretty evenly divided. Divided evenly divided when you break it down like that. I don't know when you break it down like that. When you see like that, when you break it down like that, and you break it down. When you break it down like that. So when you break it down like that, it seems pretty evenly divided. Life seems pretty evenly divided. Life seems pretty evenly divided. Life seems pretty evenly divided. Evenly divided. Evenly divided. Divided. When you break it down like that, life seems pretty evenly divided. But and here's that, and here's that. And here's the interesting part, and here's the funny thing, and here's the interesting part. But here's the interesting part. But and here's that the interesting part. And the funny thing, the interesting part. Here's and the interesting part. So here's the interesting part. And two of these parts and two of those parts depend on two decisions, depend on two big, two huge, two major decisions, and two of these parts depend on the other two of them, and two of those parts, two of them, those parts these, those, and those parts depend on. That depend on. That depend on what? Depend two decisions, two major decisions, major decisions, and two big, huge, major decisions. Two major and decisions. You know what? But here's the funny thing. Here's the interesting part. Two of them, those parts, these parts depend on two major decisions. What are they? Your career and your partner. Your career and your partner. Your career and your career. And your partner, your career, and your partner, your career, and the partner. Oh wow, that's true, so true. Exactly, you're right, absolutely right. Can you imagine that if you choose a job that you don't like, you don't enjoy, so then 8 hours every day can feel long, so long. If you choose a job that, can you imagine that if you choose a job, if you choose a job that you don't like, a job you like? No, you don't. A job you don't like, you don't enjoy. You don't enjoy. Can you imagine that if you choose a job that you don't like, you don't enjoy, and 8 hours, yes, and the 8 hours every day, those 8 hours every day, those 8 hours every day, those 8 hours every day can feel really, really long, so long, every day, and every day. I know that it can feel really long, and can feel so long, really, really long, really long. Can you imagine that if you choose a job that you don't like, you don't enjoy, these 8 hours, those 8 hours every day can feel really, really long? And I'm sure, I know that maybe they wake up already feeling drained, exhausted, trained. You wake up already feeling that you wake up, you wake up already feeling trained, already feeling that already feeling trained, already the feeling that the feeling trained, exhausted, trained. And I know that feeling can last for years, so many years. I know that feeling can last for years, and that feeling, can last for years. That feeling can last for years. Can last for years, many years. You wake up already feeling drained, exhausted. The feeling can last for years. Yeah, true, so true. That's that's true. And as you know that your work doesn't just affect the money you make, you earn how much money you make, how much money you earn. I, um, I'm sure that, and it affects your mood too, your mood, your health too. As you know that, because work doesn't just affect how much money you make, because because you know that your work doesn't just affect work. It doesn't just no, it doesn't. I know your work doesn't just work. It doesn't just affect. It doesn't just affect how much money you make. Just affect how much money you make. How much money you make. That how much money you earn. Money you make. You make, as you know that your work doesn't just affect how much money you make, and it also affects your mood. It also affects, and it is it also affects. It also affects your mood. Your mood. Your mood. Your health. And the way you see life, how you see life, your health, and the way and how you see life, your health. Your health and how you see life, and the way how you see life. And I've met many people that who are very skilled and very talented, but you know what? They hate their jobs. Really hate. I've met so many people who are very talented, but they hate their jobs. I've met many people that, as you know, I've met many people who are very talented. I've met many people who are very talented, that are very talented, and very talented. So you know, I've met so many people who are very talented, but they hate their jobs. But you know what? But they hate their jobs. But hate their jobs. Their jobs. They do well, sure. They do very well. They do their job. They work well. But inside, they feel empty. You know, they work well, very, very well. They work their job well. They work very well. They do they work well. They do their job, they work well, very well. But inside they feel empty. But inside they feel empty. Inside you know that they feel empty. That because when a job, especially when a job doesn't suit you, it drains your energy slowly and slowly. Because when a job and the person doesn't suit you, it drains your energy slowly. Because and especially when a job a person when a job that doesn't suit you, doesn't suit you, it drains your energy. It slowly drains your energy, and it slowly drains your energy. It drains your energy. Slowly drains your energy. That's right. Exactly, you are. That's right. True. So true. You're right. Because when a job doesn't suit you, it slowly drains your energy. And the second big decision is choosing a partner, a life partner. And the second big, huge, awesome, amazing decision is that choosing a partner. And the second big one. And the second big one, the second big decision is that the second big decision is what? Is choosing a life partner. Choosing a life partner. In choosing your partner and a life partner, your job, your partner. I think that might have an even bigger and bigger impact. That might have an even bigger impact. That it might have. I think that might have a bigger impact, an even bigger impact, bigger and bigger, an even bigger impact, the bigger impact. That might have a bigger impact. But why? Why do you say that? Why do you say that, man? Why do you say that? Why? And why do you say that? Why do you say that? And then as you know, your wife and your husband is the person you share the most of your life with. Yes, you know, your husband and your wife, your partner is the person that you share the most of your life with. Because I I'm sure you know that, clearly that your partner, your partner is the person that you share. Is the person. Your partner is the person, and is your partner is the person. Is the person. Your partner is the person that you share most of your life with, and you share most and most of your life with. Share the most of your life. Share the most of your life with your life with. Share with. They can. Absolutely, they can make your life feel easier, lighter, better. And or it's stressful. Better. Or stressful. They can make, absolutely they can. They can make your life feel. They can. Absolutely they can. They can. And they can make your life feel easier, lighter. Your life feel, make your life feel easier and lighter. Easier and life feel easier and lighter. And lighter, they can, absolutely can't. Or on the other hand, they can make everything feel stressful. Then or they can make everything. Then and he and she can make your life feel stressful. Can make everything feel. Can make everything can make everything feel more stressful. Feel more and stressful. I heard someone say that. I once heard someone say that if you choose the right person, if you choose the right partner, your life becomes much more peaceful. I once heard someone say that. I once heard someone say that. I once heard someone say that. I once heard and someone say that. How did someone say that? And someone said, I once heard someone say that if you choose the right person, if in the case that if you choose the right person, and if you choose the right person, the right partner, and the right partner, you know what? Your life becomes peaceful, much more peaceful. You know, your life becomes much more peaceful. And I know if you choose the right partner, your life becomes life becomes more and much more peaceful. And what if? What if you choose the wrong one? And then every day that can feel like a struggle, And what if you choose the wrong one? And what if? Otherwise, you choose the wrong one. You choose the wrong one. I don't know. And you choose the wrong one. The wrong partner, person. And then every day can feel like a struggle. Then every day can feel like it. Every day. Every day can feel like it. Can feel like. Can feel like a struggle. Can feel like a struggle. And struggle. And every day can feel like, well, that sounds serious, pretty serious. Yeah, it is. Yes, of course you are. Yes, it is. That sounds pretty serious. Yeah, that's right. And that sounds pretty serious. Yes, it is. That sounds pretty serious. Pretty and serious. Yeah, yes it is. Yes, it is. Just think about that. Just think about it. Home. Your house is where you go after a long day at work. Just think about that. Think about that. Home is where you go. After a long day at work. Just think about it, man. Think about it. You just think about it. I mean, home. Home is where? Home is where? Home is where? Home is where? Home is where you go. You go. It's where you go. You go back. After a long day at work. After a long day at work. A long day at work. After a long day. After a long day at work. Just think about that. Home is where you go after a long day at work. After a long day at work. And if your home isn't peaceful, life becomes exhausting. Your life becomes exhausting. If home isn't peaceful. And if home isn't peaceful, home is peaceful. No, isn't. It isn't peaceful. Home isn't peaceful. And I think your life becomes exhausting. Your life becomes exhausting. Life becomes exhausting. And exhausting. That's right. And a job can make up for that. No, I don't think so. I don't think a good job cannot fully make up for family life, for especially an unhappy family life. A good job can make up a good job and a good job. A job, a good job cannot make up for, can fully make up for, can fully make up for, fully make up for what? For life, family life, an unhappy family life. Happy? No. Unhappy. Life and a family life. Family life. So I know a good job that can fully make up for your life, family life, unhappy family life. And even that a good family, a loving family can struggle if your work becomes too hard, difficult, stressful, and even a loving family, and even a loving family, a good family, a loving family. Struggle, sure, can struggle if your work becomes too stressful, can struggle. Absolutely can. Can struggle. Can struggle if your work becomes too stressful, if your work becomes too stressful, your work becomes too stress and stressful. And I know a good job can fully make up for family life, happy, unhappy, unhappy family life, and even a loving family. A good family can struggle if your work becomes too stressful. So those two decisions are connected. Yeah, are very closely connected. And those two decisions are closely connected. So that these two decisions are connected decisions. And decisions are connected, closely connected, or closely connected. That's right. Connected. So those two decisions are closely connected. Exactly. Exactly, you are. And the hardest part is that the hardest part is, and the difficult part is that when especially when you're young, when you're young, we're young, we often don't notice, don't realize how important these decisions are, these choices are. Yeah, the hardest part is that. The difficult part is that. The hardest part is that. The difficult part is that. The difficult part is. The difficult the hardest part is, the difficult part is, the hardest part is, the difficult part is that, and when we're young, when we're young, that when we're young, is that and the difficult and the difficult part is that and the difficult part is that when we're young, that's and when we're young. And the difficult part is, the hardest part is that when we're young, we often don't realize that. We usually don't realize. We often don't realize. Realize how important these are, how important these decisions are, how important these choices are, how important. How important these choices are, how important these choices are, these decisions, choices. And choices are, how important these are. Some people, a lot of people choose jobs just for money, and other people choose partners based on emotions, based only on emotions. I know some people choose jobs. Some people choose jobs. Some people that choose jobs. Instead of choose jobs. Choose jobs. Job just for the money. And just for the money. And I know a lot of people, some people choose jobs just for the money, and the other people, other people choose partners based only on emotions, and other people. And others choose partners that choose partners based only on emotions. Based only on that based only on emotions. And some people choose jobs just for the money, and others choose partners based only on emotions. And then a few years later, and then just a few years later, they realize that how deeply these choices or these decisions affect their lives. Just a few years later, then just a few years later, and a few years, and then a few years later, and then that a few years later, and they realize that how deeply those decisions, they realize that they realize that they realize how deeply those decisions, how they realize that how deeply those decisions, they realize those decisions affect their lives, that affect their lives, affect their lives. So, and then just a few years later, they realize that how deeply those decision choices affect their lives. And but by then, it's easy to change. No, it's not. It's not easy to change. It's not always easy to change. But by then, but by then, but by then, changing is easy. No, it's not easy to change. It's not always easy to change. It's easy to change. No, it's not. Yes, it's not. And it's not always easy to change. Always easy to change. It's not. I know it's always easy to change. No, it's not easy to change. That's true. That's so true. That's true. And so and now I know that maybe that's why people, especially the older people, often tell us that please think about that. Think carefully about these two decisions. Maybe that's why older people often tell us that please think carefully about. Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's why. I think maybe that's why. That's why all the people then often tell us that. That's why the people, especially older people, maybe that's why older people often tell us that. Often tell us that. Often tell us. Please think carefully to think carefully about. Tell us. All the people often tell us that to think carefully about. Think carefully about these two decisions, your partner and your work, to these decisions. that these two decisions, that these two decisions, choices, decisions. Maybe that's why older people often tell us that please think carefully about these decisions. Perfect? No, don't have to be. They don't have to be perfect. They have to be perfect? No, they don't. They have to be? No, they don't. They don't have to be perfect. Have to be, don't have to be? No. And I know they don't have to be perfect. But understand, we should, have to, need to, should understand what matters to us, what really matters to us, to you, and to me. But understand, we should, we have to, we need to. We should, we have to, and we need to understand. Understand what matters, what truly matters, what really matters to you, to us, to me. That what matters. What really matters. What really matters to you. And it matters to us, to you. So and hearing you say that, listening to this makes me feel like, hearing you say that, listening to this makes me feel like, listening to this, hearing you say that, listening to this, yeah, makes me feel like that. Makes me feel like. Makes me feel like. Hearing you say that, listening to this, makes me feel like those two decisions, and those two decisions, those two decisions, are the foundation of life, and are the foundation of life, are the foundation of life, are the foundation of life, are the foundation. Are the foundation of life. And hearing you say that, and listening to this, makes me feel like those two decisions, choices, are the foundation of life. Right? Exactly. And if the foundation, your foundation and my foundation, and the foundation is strong, so strong, if the foundation is strong, if the foundation is strong, if the foundation is that, and is strong, so strong, and everything else becomes easier, much easier to build. Everything else easy, yeah, becomes much easier to build, becomes much easy and easier to build. easier to build. Everything else. Okay. Rồi. Tại vì chúng ta sẽ lướt lại một xí nha mày. Chúng ta sẽ lướt lại nhân á. Tại vì cũng khuya quá rồi. Ok. Chúng ta cũng sẽ lướt lại nhân nha. Mời nhớ uống miếng nước nha. Có. Anh like khoảng 12 giờ rưỡi đêm mỗi ngày đó Nhung. Ok. Anh like khoảng 12 giờ rưỡi đêm mỗi ngày. Có. Anh có úp lại ha. Anh có úp lại. Ok. Yes. Hey friend, you know, and have you thought about that? And have you ever thought about that? And the decisions, important decisions, the most important decision, and what the most important decision in life are? Have you ever thought about that? The most important decision and what the most important decisions in life are? Yes, I have. Sure, I have. I know some people say that, and these are, they are two big decisions, big ones, two really big ones. Really? Yes, really. And what are they? You're choosing who and choosing what, and choosing who you're going to spend your life with, your time with. You're choosing what kind of work, what kind of job you're going to do. Okay, choosing who and choosing what. Choosing who and you're going to spend your time, your life with. You're choosing what kind of work, job you're going to do. Wow, that sounds simple, easy. That sounds simple. But I guess it affects a lot, right? Yeah, it does. It really does. If you just think about that, if you think about myself, your life, my life, and our lives, and revolve around these two things, those two things. But what do you mean, man? Well, just think about a day, a normal day. We all have 24 hours, right? That's right. But I think usually we spend about 8 hours sleeping. Usually we spend about 8 hours sleeping. And that's when our bodies charge and recharge. That's when our bodies charge, recharge. And another 8 hours working. Then another 8 hours working. Oh, yeah, that's right. Exactly. So, and about a third of your life, my life, and our lives is spent at work. So about a third of our lives is spent at work. And the last 8 hours, and I think that's the time we spend with family, usually the time we spend with family, friends, and the people, your kids, the people you care about, we really care about. Then we can, and we can see that way. When you break it down like that, life seems pretty evenly divided. Yeah, I think that's the funny thing is that, and here's the interesting part, that the two of those parts depend on two big decisions, huge and major decisions, your career and your partner. Exactly. If you choose a job that you don't like, you don't enjoy it, and these 8 hours every day can feel long, so long, really, really long. You know, if you choose a job that you don't like, you don't enjoy, these 8 hours every day can feel really, really long. and you wake up, yeah, already feeling drained, exhausted. You wake up already feeling drained, and that feeling can last for years, many, many years, and that's true, so true. Yeah, but you know why? Because at work, your job doesn't just affect how much money you earn, how much money you make. It affects your mood. Besides that, it affects your mood, your health, and how you see life and the way you see life. Um, you know what? I've met people who are very talented. I've met people they are who are very talented, but they have their jobs. Then they do their job well, very very well, but inside they feel empty because when a job because I think when a job doesn't fit doesn't suit you, okay. And because when a job doesn't suit you, it drains your energy slowly and slowly drains your energy, exactly. And the second big one is that the second big decision is in choosing your wife and your husband, a life partner that may have an even bigger one, that may have an even bigger impact. It might have an even bigger and bigger impact. What? Why? What do you mean? Why do you say that? What do you mean? Why do you say that? Because your partner is the person. Because your partner is the person you share. You share the most of your life, your time with, and they can make your life feel easier or and lighter, and or they can make your life feel more stressful, and everything feel more stressful, easier, lighter, or stressful. I once heard someone say that. I once heard someone say that if you choose the right one, if you're the right person, if you're the right partner, your life becomes much more peaceful. And if you choose the wrong one, then every day can feel like a struggle. So it's hard, it's difficult, a difficult day. That sounds pretty serious, right? Yes, it is. Sure. Yes, of course. Yes, it is. Just think about home. I know home is where you go back after a long day at work. Home is where you go after a long day at work. But if your home isn't peaceful, your life becomes exhausting for sure. Exactly. And furthermore, a job, and even a good job that can fully make up for an unhappy family life. A job, and even a good job cannot fully make up for an unhappy family life, and even a lovely family can struggle if your work becomes too stressful. If those two decisions are connected, yeah, are closely connected, exactly. And the difficult part is that the hardest part is that especially when we're young, we often don't notice, we often don't know, we often don't realize how important they are, how important these decisions, how important these choices are. Just some people choose jobs just for the money, and others choose partners based only on emotions. And then a few years later, then they realize that and how deeply these decisions affect their lives, and how deeply those decisions affect their lives. But by then, it's not easy, and it's not always easy to change. True, so true. And maybe that's why people, especially the older people like your sister, your father, your mom, your dad, and uncle, often tell us that please think carefully about these two decisions. That they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be perfect, but we should. I think we have to understand what matters, what really truly matters to you, to me, to us. And hearing you say that, listening to say that, makes me feel like that. And these two decisions are the foundation of life. Exactly. And if the foundation, your foundation is strong, so strong, and everything else becomes easier, much easier to build. Ok. So, nhầm. Thì hôm nay cũng khuya rồi. Hôm nay chúng ta sẽ tạm dừng ở đây nha nhầm. Và nếu có khi nào mà nhóm có cần gì về tiếng Anh á, nhóm cần về phát âm, thuyết trình á, giao tiếp á, thì nhóm có thể nhắn anh ha. Ok. Có lớp khai giảng rèn ngữ điệu á và nói âm và ngữ điệu á để cho nó ok hơn á, thì nhóm có thể nhắn anh ha. Ok, thank you. Cảm ơn nha. Cảm ơn nha. Và nhóm nghỉ ngơi ạ. Thank you. Bye bye. Cảm ơn nhóm nha. Bye bye, thank you. Bye bye. Nhóm nghỉ ngơi nha. Bye bye, thank you. Cảm ơn ạ. Bye bye nha. Yeah.